"Oh, Delia, I envy you. What a catch you've got yourself. You're the luckiest bride," her old school friend exclaimed. "Thank you, Sloane. I've waited so long for this happiness," Delia replied, feeling she had truly earned her joy. Delia's childhood was grey and monotonous. She had no father, and she lived with her mother and stepfather. For a long time, little Delia couldn't understand why their home was always filled with parties and the smell of alcohol. The secret was revealed quickly. Her grandmother visited one day, saw the mess and pronounced, "They're alcoholics, dear, real alcoholics." She then took Delia's things and left with her granddaughter. From then on, Delia rarely saw her mother, except when she came begging for money to cure her hangover. School years left a bitter taste in Delia's soul. Being from a poor family, she couldn't escape the whispers and ridicule, no matter how well she did in her studies or extracurricular activities. "Look, there's Delia. Do you think she drinks with her parents, or is just about to start?" the girls in her class would whisper. Delia didn't know how to respond. It wasn't her fault. Her only real friend was Sloane, who understood her without many words, likely because she faced similar struggles at home. Delia did have a prom, but her dress was rented, and her shoes were far from Cinderella's glass slippers. It wasn't the prettiest outfit, but it was all she had. After high school, Delia attended college. By then, her grandmother had passed away from heartache over her daughter's behaviour, leaving Delia with fond memories. Now, Delia was an orphan with living parents. She met Stephen during their final year of college, while interning at a factory, where they both ended up working after graduation. Their romance blossomed quickly. Stephen was charming, bringing her flowers, gifts and romantic dinners, easily winning her heart. Delia was naturally modest, with beautiful long chestnut hair and slightly sad but captivating grey eyes. Stephen was smitten and proudly introduced her as his fiancée. "Son, maybe you should wait with the wedding," his mother suggested. "Mum, I love her, and she's a good girl. Why wait?" Stephen replied, puzzled. "Because, son, by marrying this pauper, you're aligning yourself with her alcoholic parents. I've done my research and know all about her family," his mother retorted. Despite his parents' warnings and disapproval, Stephen followed his heart. He proposed to Delia, knowing she would say yes. The wedding was beautiful because Stephen's parents spared no expense on the celebration. "I'm so happy, darling," Delia whispered to Stephen. He looked at her with the same joy, sweeping her up and dancing across the floor. The young couple loved each other deeply, savouring every moment together. 3 years of marriage only strengthened their bond, and the future seemed bright and full of promise. But everything changed on that fateful day when, at Stephen's insistence, they decided to spend the Christmas holidays at a ski resort. Delia was terrified of skiing. "Darling, may I just watch or build a snowman?" she joked, but Stephen had other plans. "Sweetheart, you need to face your fears. Just try it at least once." Reluctantly, Delia agreed. The ski slope was far too advanced for a beginner, but Stephen was confident she could handle it. From her first push-off, Delia knew she would fall. Struggling to maintain her balance, she tried to control her movements, but the steep slope was too much. She tumbled down, unable to stop, until she finally came to a halt at the bottom, feeling a searing pain in her back that left her immobile. "Delia, what happened?" Stephen asked, frightened. She could only breathe heavily, her heart pounding. She knew something terrible had occurred. At the trauma ward, they discovered Delia had a compression fracture of the lumbar spine. The doctors avoided her gaze, delaying the inevitable until her discharge. "She likely won't walk again. I am sorry," the department head told Stephen. Delia understood her prognosis. Stephen seemed distant and preoccupied, as if lost in thought. Little did she know that his mother had already intervened, poisoning his mind against her. "See, Stephen, everything turned out just as I told you," his mother said, emphasizing her last words. "You don't need this marriage. She'll only tie you down. Remember, son, you need to focus on your career, not on helping invalids." Her persistent words wore down Stephen's resolve. He filed for divorce and evicted Delia from his apartment. The young woman was devastated, feeling as though she were living in a nightmare. "You can stay in the dormitory for now," Stephen said as he left, vanishing as if their 3 happy years together had never existed. Delia was left to weep bitterly. The dormitory, lacking a ramp, was unbearable for Delia. She fell on the stairs a couple of times, injuring her face and hands. Since then she rarely left her room, sinking into a deep depression as she sat in her wheelchair, staring blankly for hours and crying silently. Tears streamed down her beautiful face, but she didn't care. Unexpectedly, Delia's only friend, Sloane, pulled her out of this despair. She took Delia to her place to shake her out of her stupor. "Enough moping, Delia," Sloane said. "Tears won't solve anything. Look at you, you're so pale. Let's start with a walk in the park." It was spring, and the warm sunshine revived Delia's spirits. She felt like the Snow Queen from a fairy tale, thawing under the sun's gentle touch. The chirping sparrows in the maple and elm trees, the pigeons bathing in a puddle, and even the passing strangers seemed like close family to her. From then on, Delia spent most of her days in the park. One day, she witnessed a dramatic scene unfolding before her. A pack of stray dogs had cornered an emaciated golden retriever by the dumpsters, intending to tear it apart. Delia's heart raced, and she couldn't hold back her emotions. She steered her wheelchair straight into the hostile pack. Startled, the dogs scattered in all directions, leaving only the injured shepherd behind. Its side was blooded, and it limped on one paw. Startled, the dogs scattered in all directions, leaving only the injured retriever behind. Its side was blooded, and it limped on one paw. "What did you do to deserve this?" Delia asked softly. The dog tilted its head, listening, and after a moment let out a soft bark as if agreeing with her. "You're so smart. Can you please give me your paw?" she joked. To her surprise, the dog lifted its right paw and placed it on the woman's knee. "You're quite the gentleman," Delia laughed as the dog licked her hand. She hadn't felt this happy in a long time. As she tended to the dog's wounds, she forgot about her own condition and enjoyed the moment. The dog was well-mannered and intelligent, not at all like a stray. Delia knew she would take him home with her. Sloane also loved animals, so she wouldn't mind. "I'll call you Rocky," Delia said, and the dog barked in agreement, its kind eyes gleaming. "All right, Rocky, let's go home," she said, starting to wheel herself forward. Rocky pushed the wheelchair from behind, skillfully navigating the path. When they reached their apartment building, Rocky stood on his hind legs and pressed the elevator button with his nose. Delia was impressed by his intelligence and city savvy. Inside the apartment, Rocky behaved calmly, curling up in the hallway. "He's so well behaved," Sloane exclaimed. "You've found yourself a loyal friend, Delia." After treating Rocky's wounds and feeding him, they went to bed. Rocky slept lightly, his ears twitching at every sound outside the door. The next morning, Sloane woke up first and began singing softly in the bathroom. Suddenly, she heard someone joining in. She continued singing and realized it was Rocky, howling and agreeing with her song. "Delia, we've got ourselves a singer," Sloane laughed, showing off Rocky's musical talents. "He's special. I knew it from the start," Delia said, hugging her furry friend. Meanwhile, Her joy was slightly dampened by the fact that she needed money for her post-operative rehabilitation, and help came from an unexpected source. "Delia, let's put on a show in the park," Sloane suggested. "You, me and Rocky. Remember how we used to sing duets in school? We'll put out a donation box for your operation." "I don't know, Sloane," Delia replied sadly. "It feels strange. I remember our performances, but I'm not sure if I can do it." "The important thing is to start," Sloane insisted. She took charge of organising everything, preparing the donation box and choosing the right outfits. The day of the performance arrived. Rocky was washed and groomed, and even wore a bow tie like a true opera singer. Sloane started the show with a slightly melancholic but pleasant song, and Delia joined in, her fears melting away as she sang. When the dog began its aria, the park erupted in thunderous applause. People of all ages stopped to watch and smile at the unusual trio. This was undoubtedly a success. Coins rained into their collection box as if someone had activated a money shower. As Delia sang, tears streamed down her face. It was as if her tormented soul was singing, not her. After the performance, many approached them, wishing them well and shaking their hands. Some even wanted to take photos with the dog. Now they performed almost every day. Delia was beginning to enjoy it. She did it not so much for the money, but for herself, to feel alive again and forget about her ailment. But one day, an incident nearly derailed their endeavour. While preparing for a concert, their dog Rocky chased after a butterfly and strayed a bit too far. Suddenly, a noose was thrown around his neck and he was dragged toward a van. Rocky resisted and whimpered, but the animal control workers were relentless. The van was just meters away when Delia finally caught up. "Leave my dog alone! He's not a stray!" she cried. "Mum, don't interfere with our work. We have scheduled operations, and the dog has no collar, so we're taking him to the shelter," the man in uniform replied coldly. "What kind of people are you? I'm telling you, he's my dog. Do you want money? Here, take it!" Delia shouted, throwing the coins they had collected at their feet. An awkward silence fell, broken by the senior worker. "Let the dog go. Can't you see you're dealing with a crazy woman?" The noose was removed from Rocky's neck, and he joyfully ran to Delia, licking her from head to toe. They finished the concert that day, and it was their most successful yet. As they prepared to leave, Delia heard a voice calling, "Cooper! Cooper, come here!" Rocky perked up his ears and approached the stranger. "Cooper? His name is Rocky and he's my dog," Delia insisted. No, he's Cooper. Let me explain," the stranger said. Rocky wagged his tail in recognition. The young man introduced himself as Nicholas and explained that Cooper had lived with him for nearly 5 years. Everything was fine until his wife, who hated animals, kicked the dog out and filed for divorce, while Nicholas was away on a business trip. She wanted to hurt him as much as possible. Nicholas had searched for his 4-legged friend, even posting ads, but to no avail. "Now, I don't know what to do. Take Cooper back or leave him with you. Either way, it feels wrong. I can see you've both grown attached to each other," Nicholas said, puzzled. "Why don't you take Delia along with the dog?" Sloane chimed in, never one for tact. Her suggestion caught everyone off guard, but Nicholas warmed to the idea. He had a large house with plenty of room for everyone. Soon things were spinning, like in the kindest of fairy tales. Nicholas's father was a renowned neurosurgeon who, after examining Delia, said there was hope for her recovery. They wasted no time and scheduled a complex surgery for early August. The operation was a success. Delia faced a long rehabilitation, but the prospect of walking again filled her with hope. Nicholas supported Delia in every way, and it seemed the two were developing feelings for each other. Their mutual feelings toward the dog brought them closer. Nicholas turned out to be caring and attentive, making Delia feel safe and secure. A year later, the couple celebrated their wedding, professing their love for each other. And Rocky continued to bring them together, proving that love and loyalty can overcome any obstacle.